YouTube folks, feel free to jump ahead about a minute or two here. I'm just going to give people a second to get into the stream and finish all my setup here before I get started. I'm also going to try to figure out why my card holder logo isn't appearing. Oh, maybe I deleted the image and now it doesn't have that as a reference. Okay, that's a problem for future Phil to fix. All right, good afternoon, folks. My name is Phil Gallagher. I run ThrabenU University, a site for legacy, death, and taxes. And on this channel, we essentially play D&T and Friends of D&T decks. So I've been playing a lot of Red Prison lately in order to help me write some articles on Red Prison for my website. And those were pretty well received. I enjoyed doing them quite a bit. There will be 2 more of those in the next 2 to 3 weeks, something like that. Last time around, I started a league with D&T, so we're going to go ahead and finish that up today to just kind of give you a feel where we left off. We beat Red Black Reanimator and Steel Stompy in 2 games each, and so we're heading into this one with a 2-0-4-0 record. Afternoon, Army of Thalia. I'm doing great. So this is an early dismissal day for me. I have no more full school days for the rest of the year. I have half days Monday through Wednesday of next week, and then a teacher work day on Thursday if I have anything that I need to do. But yeah, it's pretty nice here as well for a change. It's been like terribly rainy the last few days here. Like rainy, I mean like flooding. It's been gross. So we're going to continue to play the list that I've been testing for the last 2 weeks, which is a 24 land D&T build, just opting to run an extra basic land here, and no like Cavern of Souls or anything like that in the flex slot, just like good, solid, basic planes. And as far as the creature base goes, it's the normal stuff, and in the 6 flex slots, we have 1 basic planes, 3 Avenger, and 2 Crusaders. I recall someone mentioning that it's a good metagame for Food Chain. I don't know whether or not I agree with that. Generally speaking, I think Food Chain is almost always better than people think that it is. It's a good bug mid-range deck that has a combo finish, and if you're playing the Walking Ballista version instead of the Emrakul version, all of your cards are reasonable on their own, even if you're not using them to combo off fully. You also get the best draw spell in the format in Manipulate Fate. The first time you get to cast one of those, it's essentially 2 mana, tutor 3 times, and draw a card. That's disgusting. So I can imagine that deck actually being pretty good. Like it's got Abrupt Decays, and lots of bodies that can trade with stuff in Delver, as well as a combo finish that can come out of nowhere, and a bunch of like Baleful Strix. So yeah, I imagine that deck is well positioned right now. Yeah, the second Manipulate Fate is pretty bad, yes. But that first one, though, it's real good. It's fine, we can brainstorm the second one back. I really like Food Chain. I own the deck on paper. I've played it at multiple medium-sized events. I don't play it on Moto because I can't imagine that amount of clicking is fun. But I think the deck's very well is a very good deck. Better than people give it credit for. Oh, this hand's gas. Very happy with this hand. And my opponent plays Steel Stompy. My opponent's on a mulligan, so I'll go ahead and keep this. This isn't like the best hand against Steel Stompy or anything. But like Vial and 2 first strikers is pretty good. Alright. Streaming during the Pro Tour, bold move. Yeah, what format's that Pro Tour, though? Do I care about that Pro Tour? I mean, you're here, so... Yeah, okay, standard Pro Tour. Yucky. If I had another land, there might actually be an argument for, like, Swords to Plowsharing the Vault Scourge to try to keep my opponent off of Mox Opal mana. But since I don't have another land, just, like, playing that Vial is just better than anything else I can be doing. Huh. Well, things are a little scary over there, chat. So, if I Swords to Plowshares target the Ravager moves counters to Ballista. If I Swords to Plowshares targeting Ballista, it just gets sacked to the Ravager. Since I have this Mom to beat the Vault Scourge, and those counters are likely to end up on that at some point anyway, my line is probably remove the Ballista now before it can be pumped. Yeah, Mom good in creature matchups. I mean, it's real good right here. Look at that. That's a black creature. So for those of you who aren't subbed, just to say this... okay. Just to say this so you hear it, I have a handful of half-days coming up, so expect to see more daytime streams. This will maybe not be the norm, but for the next couple of weeks before Latin Academy, expect to see a lot of content. Alright, this Flicker Wisp is going to be really good one way or another this game. I'm not sure in what capacity it's going to be very good, but it's either going to, like, target a Ravager or whatever Ravager's counters go on, or it's going to, like, blink the Revoker for a turn so that I can dump in a few creatures. It's fine, it's fine. The Revoker can't always be ours. We can share Revoker with other decks. That's annoying. That is, like, legitimately annoying. Because, like, that's a quote-unquote Thalia effect. that taxes my creatures, because it says non-artifacts. I think my opponent should have attacked in with the Ravager too, truth be told. Oh man, I think I'm gonna lose this game, chat. I don't know if I've ever dropped a game to Steel Stompy. Womp 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 womp. If I draw a land, I play Athalia that will get bounced again. If I don't draw a land, I'm probably just dead. To have any chance in this game, I need to hit land followed by land. Can I afford to just take this hit? It's 5, 6, 7, 8 with a possibility of 11, but 11 would be suicidal. If I take 8 damage, I draw a land, I play Athalia. Yeah, then the following turn the attack is lethal. Whereas if I block Lodestone here, I only take 3, I go to 12, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so I'm going to need a land no matter what in order to survive. No, our one-lander was insane. That was such a good one-land hand. It was a one-land double Aether Vial hand. We drew a second land on top of that. Like, it is not our opening hand or our like draws on our side of the table's fault if we lose this one. Like it was just a Revoker. That card's good. That's why we play it. Like, if my opponent didn't have the Revoker, I would have just gone ham on their resources. Would not have been close. Alright, so now I play this Thalia. I'll take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and die. Alright, so game 1, loss to Revoker on Vial. Let's battle. Alright, so Judgment's in, Relic Water in, Recruiter maybe, Path's in, Cataclysm's possible, but probably not. Moms can go out, and Thalias aren't great. And I think I like that. Great. Like, we have another Vile hand. It can get a Stoneforge for a Batter Skull to, like, force my opponent to deal with that. And then have, like, another aggressive piece of equipment as a follow-up. Chalice on one, a little slow on the draw. Chalice is one of those cards where if you have the ability to board it out against D&T, you probably should. There is some argument for playing Thalia over the Stoneforge here. Just to, like, decrease my opponent's ability to play things like Ratchet Bomb, Spatial Contortion, things of that nature, Jitte. So I'm going to think about my decision for just a second here. JD, I'm glad. Nothing like helping your friends lose all productivity on a Friday. I'm on board with that. The earlier I play this Thalia, the better in terms of my development. I know Thalia isn't the best card in this matchup, but there's a very good possibility this is a hindrance here. Spell Sky. Okay. And a Vault Scourge. That's all fine. Oh man, C-Lab 2021 is an interesting show. I don't really know that you can describe it any other way. Plains is an amazing draw. That means I can go and hold up a... how do I want to do this? I can go and cast Recruiter, get a Flicker Wisp preemptively. Then Vial in Stoneforge, put in Batterskull end of turn, tick Vial up, have Flicker Wisp to deal with a Vault Scourge that gets countered, or the Chalice if I need to. I don't think I want to go and do something like Stoneforge, get Jitte, cast Jitte. I don't think that's necessary right now. I want to see if I can sneak in 2 damage. I could not sneak in 2 damage. Ooh, I can also just get a Leonin Relic Warder. Getting a Flicker Wisp is probably fine. There's nothing on board that's a problem currently. And I'd rather tick my Vial up to 3. Alright, that's sort of annoying. But it's not actually all that bad, because my opponent probably needs to use it to get rid of my Stoneforge. And I'm going to get the Batter Skull to incentivize them to kill the Stoneforge. How do I want to play my turn? I want to put in Batter Skull. But there's some world where I do need to stop this Walking Ballista as well. I can't just Flicker Wisp it out because of the Spellskite. I can Recruiter of the Guard, get a Revoker and revoke it, and that's pretty good. And then in response, my opponent would Ballista, shoot and kill Stoneforge, or get Thalia plus Recruiter. I try to Flicker with something, my opponent will take 2 life, and then I'll get to swing in for some chip damage. That's all fine. If I let my opponent untap and they put another counter on the Ballista, it's probably bad. Try to shoot the Thalia. I'll try to bounce the Thalia. There's a world where I shut off Mox Opal, but I think I'll just shut off Spellskite, so that my Flicker Wisp will actually do the Flicker Wisp things that I want it to do. Yeah, Thalia trading for a Ballista is amazing. Like, done deal. My shields are kind of down right now, so if my opponent goes like Jitte, equip, swing with Vault Scourge, that's kind of unfortunate. But otherwise, I don't care about too much they can do. That's pretty good. I am a little curious why the Thalia ate it instead of the Stoneforge. I'm not gonna lie to you. So this is probably a turn where I just put in a Batter Skull and then start gaining a bunch of life. The Ballista's annoying, but very beatable. And I can get this second vial down to free up some of my mana later on. It's kind of miraculous that my Caracas hasn't gotten wastelanded yet. So I can attack with both of my recruiters. I'm fine with it trading with either one of those. And I don't really need this on the ground to block the Ballista. I'm not blocking a Ballista. It's going to be able to grow to a 2/2. Oh yeah, my opponent has Chalice. That's right. So I can try to Flicker Wisp Chalice. My opponent will redirect to Spellskite. That'll put him to 8. You're going to gain 2 back up to 10. Nah, I'll just pass the turn. That's scary. Any incentive to playing Sword of Fire and Ice and putting Batter Skull in? If I put in Sword of Fire and Ice, I can force a chump block, I guess. I could try to like Flicker Wisp. I could Flicker Wisp out the Ballista, which my opponent would redirect with Spellskite. Then my Flicker Wisp would probably die to Ballista. I could put Sword on Stoneforge Mystic and attack in and force a chump on the Overseer potentially. I can also like second main phase try to Flicker Wisp one of my idiots. I do need to draw a land in order to make that happen. think I hold off on making the decision about the Flicker Wisp until I draw my card. It's not a great draw. So I can Flicker Ballista, opponent redirects to Spellskite, I swing in with my team, my opponent takes 4, 5, 6, 7, I hardcast a sword, and then I just like try to race what they've got going on. That's probably fine. Alright, so if I try to equip my Batterskull with the sword, can it successfully be redirected to Spellskite? I know my opponent can activate and try to do it, I just don't remember if that actually works. I don't remember how the equipment rules are worded. Okay, so 702 6A, equip means attach this equipment to target creature you control. Okay, so no, that won't work. It's worth clarifying now and double checking the ruling on that before anything else happens. I was pretty sure that didn't work that way, but I wasn't 100%. It's kind of a miracle that I'm not getting wastelanded. So I can't equip to anything other than the Batterskull, because if I do, my opponent will just, like, pump Ballista and then nug whatever creature I go for. So actually, since I have the other land, maybe that's something I do want to do. Because I don't have anything else to do with my mana this turn. So I can go for, like, the classic just, like, bait and switch. Otherwise, I'm just like playing a Stoneforge and fetching up a Jitte, and I'm not going to be able to deploy that Jitte next turn anyway because like my opponent has got to wasteland me sooner or later. Yeah, so let's see if I can get this this off the table, quote unquote, for free. Nope. Opponent did have a 1/5, so that's reasonable. But I kind of thought that was going to work. I thought that just, like, telegraphed that I had, like, a Flicker Wisp or, like, a Plow or something that was going to go and mess with what they were doing. Yeah, I think it's reasonable to take the risk as well. Fucking another Spellskite. God damn it. No, the way that ability is worded, it says put a +1/+1 counter on Walking Ballista. So that is not something that would work. I think I'm going to play a Stoneforge Mystic pre-combat in case my opponent decides to wasteland me. Oh, Dave C., thank you very much for the host. So I guess I just shoot him and put him to 5 because I can't kill any of his stuff. You know which one you want to watch. You know. My opponent's going to gain 8 life. I'm gonna put in my Jitte. I guess I can just like wasteland the city to like either decrease the chance that they actually wasteland me or increase the chance that they use the ancient tomb. I mean, Pro Tour coverage is also very slow. I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's slow in that like there's a lot of downtime, or you end up watching like what do they call it, the time warp magic or whatever, where um, it's fine, but I don't love it. Oh yeah, like I would not fault if there was a legacy thing on stream, I would not be streaming. If there was a modern thing on stream, I'd probably still stream over it, but I wouldn't blame you for watching modern. Um, it's not the format for me, but I do think it is a very interesting format. Oh, sweet Jesus. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know that I'm getting here this time. Because of Spellskite, like the rest of the board's annoying, but that Spellskite is just really messing me up. Like, the Spellskite stopped me from getting rid of the Chalice, which stopped me from casting the Ether Vial, which cost me a lot of tempo. Now I can't cast his Swords. So I can go for an Equip on the Crusader. Okay, if I attack him with the Germ, my opponent just blows 4 Ballista counters and kills my Germ, and then I'm probably just dead. How can I win? I don't think I can win. I'm gonna take 10 in the air and then get shot by Ballista for lethal. If I Alpha Strike, my opponent has 3 blockers, and I can only deal them 3 damage or somewhere thereabouts. Yep. I think I'm dead. Alright. Okay, wait. What if... So what if I just attack in and I do lose this? What if that happens? I go to 20 life. I Take 10 from these. I'll be at 10. Ballista can only shoot me for 7. But if my opponent sees the ballista, like, line, long term, I just lose anyway. So I kind of have to hope they don't see that. Alright. They can also just, like, block with Ballista and nug me for 5 and then kill me with Vault Scourges. That works, too. Alright, looks like that's what's happening. Why is this happening? Oh, because they can grow the tomb, grow it with tomb. Why are all these creatures dying? I'm a little confused. Like, I go to 4, but then I attack him with my germ and I gain 6, and I'll go back up to 10, and I have, like, chances to be in this game. God, why isn't my opponent wastelanding me more aggressively? Like, now I'm just back in this, right? Like, Recruiter of the Guard for Leon and Relic Warder. Relic Warder Spellskite. Attack in for 6. That puts me to 10. That doesn't do it. But that's real close, so I get a Flicker Wisp instead. Yeah. Recruiter of the Guard for Flicker Wisp Spellskite. Yep. And then I get a chump block. I want to fucking win this game. Now I could probably just chump this and protect my life total. But I can't really think about that decision very much. Yes, I could have done that. I don't have a lot of time to think right now. I'm about to time out. This is kind of comic. Does that get us dead? Pump is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. No, that technically doesn't get us dead. It will get rid of my Revoker, though, which probably effectively puts us dead. You know, if that had been a turn or two earlier, that would have worked. But now I just have no flyer. I mean, considering that I almost conceded that game, like, 6 turns earlier, I fought back into that one more than I thought I was going to. That's a shame. That's the first match I've ever dropped to Steel Stompy, I think. At least with D&T. I was 100% with D&T before that. So, I think my opponent messed up on a few different points that game. They could have wastelanded their own factory to keep me from gaining life. They easily could have wastelanded me out of that game at any opportunity, and I don't know why they didn't. Like, especially once they had the Vault Scourges going, the life loss from the 2 Ancient Tombs that they had wasn't going to matter that much once they were safer. So, like, I had multiple 3-drops that I cast that I shouldn't have been able to. Like, I shouldn't have been able to cast that Flicker Wisp. I shouldn't have been able to cast the Recruiter that I cast either. I shouldn't have been able to equip some of my equipment. And I definitely should not have been given the opportunity to move the Batterskull to some other creature, which my opponent would leave me with if I had 5 mana. So, like, if I had drawn that Crusader a turn or two earlier, I would have flopped that in, put the Batterskull on that, when I normally shouldn't have been able to have gotten to 5 mana. Well, yeah, everyone has a small sample size versus Steel Stompy. I'll keep my hand. I feel like I've played against this opponent before, but I don't have it recorded in my notes, so it was when I was playing some random deck. Goblins. Yeah, I've only played against Steel Stompy 4 or 5 times myself. Well, okay, sorry, 4 or 5 times on Moto. I've done a good amount of testing with it on paper. One of my roommates had the deck put together. I need to leave a Swords to Plowshares up for a Goblin Lackey, in case my opponent has something like Lackey plus Gem-Palm Incinerator, or like Lackey plus Tarfire. Nope. If you have most of, like, D&T already, and you just need the lands, then I would buy into D&T. Like, it's a much... I have a vial on 1. But sure. It's a much better long-term investment for your money than Burn probably will be. And I feel like it's a more competitive deck. I could remove the Sting Scourger and let this mom live, but that probably doesn't matter. I think I can just let this mom go and put another one in. It's real close, though. Like, active mom is super important. If I get active mom here, I can, like, upkeep putting a second mom, tick up Vial, play Jitte, hold Swords to Plowshares up, and then have, like, mom plus Jitte. Yeah, I am going to remove the Sting Scourger. This is weird. I could also just flicker with their Vial for a big tempo gain. But this is probably fine. Jitte's stupid in creature matchups. I didn't update my deck list, did I? I did not. It's the end of school Static Grip, so it's just like final exam periods at this point. So in my county, we have 4 shortened days. Friday through Wednesday, where the students take their final exams, 2 final exams a day, if they're not exempt from them. So Static Grip, for 3 weeks, I go and I work at Virginia's Governor's Latin Academy, teaching an intensive spoken Latin course to high school students and helping them learn about the ancient world in various ways. And then afterwards, I am a bum for a little while until school starts up. Goblin Sharpshooter, you say? Well, that's summoning 6, so this is gonna sting. Alright, opponent's had enough there. Game 1 win with Jite. Sorry, I don't remember if I answered that question about prelate or not. I don't feel like prelate is overly well positioned right now. It's an acceptable card, but I don't like it against Delver, and I don't like it against Checkpile, so that makes me not want to play that card very much. I probably want Thalia out against Goblins. It's a first striking body, but other than that, it's not really impressive in any capacity. And I'm fine with all the other cards in my deck, so I probably will just sideboard lightly. I'll want another Recruiter for a Stoneforge. And then probably some of this stuff. Well, Sweet Fat Guy, it's on screen right now. I have a handful of deck lists at Thraben University. I forgot to update the deck list before this. I've been playing a lot of different decks the last couple of streams. So I'll get that updated in a minute. This is an unimpressive opening hand. It has a removal spell. It has a Mom to stall an opposing threat. But, like, this is a turn 4 play. This is probably, like, a turn 7 or 8 play. I'd probably be better to mulligan this and try to find an Ether Vial or a Stoneforge hand. Like, if my opponent starts on, like, Vial go and I start on Mom go, I'm just going to be, like, woefully behind here. The same is still true with this hand, but I have more plays. Oh, great. That's bad. If I play Port, it just gets wastelanded, and I know I can wasteland my opponent off a mountain for a turn, but their mana doesn't matter anymore. So I'm just going to play this and pass, and then get annihilated. See how bad this is. Very bad. Yep. Two, three, four, 5, 6. This Siege Gang Commander is awesome. Oh, is it just another lackey, actually, though? Oh, God. The reason not to play Cavern is because basic Plains is good. Matron... Alright, just a Matron, that's fine. Like, with Red Prison and Delver both being so popular right now, there's just absolutely huge incentive to be playing basic lands. Alright, so this will matron for something stupid like a Kiki Jiki, and then the Lackey will put it in, and then herpa derpa derp. Even a Ringleader is pretty bad. Ooh, Tuk Tuk Scrapper. Alright. I thought about flickering Siege Gang for the value. Alright, so game 2, lost to Lackey into Siege Gang. Our first hand probably wouldn't have gotten there either. Like, the game would have gone on a little bit longer, but not super optimal. Ugh. Shit. Alright, so we kept this 6, so if my opponent keeps a hand that's reliant on Goblin Lackey, we might be able to Mize a win. If my opponent plays a Vial, I'm just dead. I mean, Check Pile is still absolutely one of the best decks and pillars of the format. I'm pretty happy to see a Tuk Tuk Scrapper go under the Chrome Mox. That means if I do draw a Vial, it's awesome. Yep, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm playing the 24th land as well. It's been very good. Alright, they get a Lackey. I think this deck list, maybe with like 1 card difference, is up on Thraben University. I don't think I have the 24th land in the deck list that's there. But otherwise, yes. I mean, this deck, that's bad for me. But now it's fine. Avenger doing super serious work here. I mean, let's go. There's an argument for like playing Crusader first and then trying to get up to 5 mana to like put the sword on Crusader. but I'm just gonna take that hit in case my opponent has Tarfire or Gem Palm Incinerator. I'm gonna start whittling down my opponent's board. I'm gonna play that, and if my opponent wants to wasteland it, I do not care. So there's a Tuk Tuk Scrapper under Chrome Mox. There may be another. Alright, so that is a Tuk Tuk Scrapper. What's the converted mana cost on that guy? 4. Do I want to continue attacking my opponent's creatures on board? Probably. There's just a fear of them like playing a Lord and it getting out of control. So my opponent's turn is probably 4 mana, Tuk Tuk Scrapper this sword, and then wasteland me. I'll get to put in a Batterskull. Yep. And then they've had enough of me. So the reason I got Batterskull is because if I just get the Jitte, there's some world where that probably goes wrong. Like, if I get the Jitte, my opponent... I feel like there's some world where I get blown out by something stupid like a Sting Scourger, if that happens. And I think if I get the Batterskull and I flop that down and I just, like, create 2 large Vigilant bodies, I think my chances of getting aggroed out of the game are basically 0. It says on the play, and I win. So game 3, win with double Swords to Plowshares and Avenger stabilizing. Like it. I know it looked like the equipment won that game, and like that's what kind of like caused my opponent to concede. But the fact that we got a Sarah Avenger on board to just like brick my opponent's little idiots after that like swords your lord, swords your Krenko turn, that's what really won me the game. Sorry, Chad, I'm trying to get a couple of things fixed on my logistic end while I do this here. Okay, I updated my panels. I didn't put the deck list for D&T down there because I'm just playing one more match with it, and then I'm switching to Stoneblade. But I put the deck list for Stoneblade below this stream. You may need to refresh in order to see that on your end, though. Okay, where do you board in Surgical Extraction? The obvious stuff like Dredge and Reanimator. Things that abuse the graveyard, like Life from the Loam, and sometimes in some combo matchups like Ant, it's just a degree of disruption, even if it's not the greatest. It gets boarded in for a bunch of fringe stuff as well. But the big ones are Reanimator, Lands, Dredge, any other graveyard-based combo deck, essentially. Yeah, I mean, the best way to get into Legacy is just, like, proxy some decks and play with friends, and use that as your starting point. Alright, do not know what my opponent is playing. But I know that I'm going to mulligan this hand. This one's fine. That can go on top. So I'm on the draw versus Holy Shamgar. No, I do not board in Surgical Extraction versus Snapcaster Mage decks. You do not want to trade an entire card of yours for half a card of theirs. It's not great long-term value. So life is bowling. It is much cheaper to play on Moto than on paper. Like Moto D&T probably costs, I don't know, $300 or $350. So like in terms of a legacy experience, that's super cheap. Our opponent is a champion. A hero of sorts, really. I have mad respect for our opponent. Well, we're almost out of Stoneforge Mystic targets. So Life is Bowling. Leagues cost either 120 play points, which you earn by playing, or 12 tickets to play. Generally speaking, if you're a decent player, you will not have to pay to play after your initial buy-in. So like I bought my deck, and I have not paid for anything on Magic Online since then. Oh, sweet, our opponent's a streamer? Oh, good on them. Like, they're streaming with Mill. They're doing the people's work. The nice thing is that my opponent's best card, Mindbreak Trap, or not Mindbreak Trap, Archive Trap, I can just, like, play around that. I can just, like, not search my library all game, and just put them in the position where that card does nothing, and it's really hard for them to win without that. So even though, like, Recruiter for Thalia is something that's awesome, I might just, like, open myself up to be milled for stupid amounts if I do that. So I'm just going to jam a Crusader. Yeah, so essentially, if you go 3-2 in a league, you get enough play points so that you can enter into your next league for free. And if you do better than 3-2, you get a decent amount of bonus stuff. Again, I'm going to try to avoid searching my library. Even though, like, playing the Recruiter is objectively very good, I'm just going to keep my library nice and thick. Screw your traps, opponent. I will not fall into them. No, 3-2 is super reasonable. So, like, if you can... Ooh! So I think I can decline to search if my opponent does that, I think. Yeah, I will be looking forward to listening to my opponent's side of this matchup later. That sounds fun. I'm going to go ahead and just check the Oracle text of Field of Ruin and get the rulings on it. Alright. Okay, so the search is mandatory. So if my opponent has Trap, then they're going to get to use it regardless. So how do I lose from here? Multiple traps. Fetch land helps. I can Wasteland C, port a land, leaving them with blue and a... No, I can't cut them off any color, because Field of Ruin will give them a land too. So it might just be Thalia. My line might be just like, Recruiter for Thalia, cast Thalia. Because I can't play around Trap anymore. I can also just, like, Wasteland C, cast Flicker Wisp my land, port, and then I have 6 in the air without searching, and then that forces my opponent to Field of Ruin. That's fine. Let's do that. Now the Field of Ruin is forced. I'll port them off the sea, leaving them with 3 mana. Lethal in the air. I mean, if you're curious about value, right now I have 261 tickets, free entry into another event, 68 chests remaining, and those are worth between $2 and $3 a piece. And I bought into multiple different builds of D&T as well. So the value is fine. Alright, how many traps do you have, opponent? One trap. Yeah, I blow a bunch of tickets every time Cube comes around. Alright, guess that'll do it. I didn't know I needed to be playing around Field of Ruin. So that's on me. All right. What's bad? The Stoneforge package is pretty bad on 2 different fronts. Like, A, it's a search effect. B, it's slow. C, I don't really need to fight my opponent's creatures that much. So I don't really want that. Revoker is not awesome. I don't know if my opponent has any targets. I'll probably just keep it as a 2/1 colorless guy. I don't think Rest in Peace is good enough for, like, Visions of Beyond purposes. These paths probably aren't good enough either, honestly. So we are playing Mono White D&T versus Mill. I might just play this as a bear. I don't have time to look it up, but I really need to look at how Surgical interacts with that trap. I don't remember if it's your library or a library. This is a super aggressive Vile-based hand, so I will keep this. And now I'm going to look up Archive Trap. Okay, so I can search my opponent's library just fine. You never know. So I guess Rest in Peace should come in for Game 3 if we win this one because of Jace's Phantasm. Like, just Visions of Beyond isn't enough, but Jace's Phantasm probably puts it over the edge. So I kind of want to just surgically extract Brainstorm, just to see their hand and deck. And then I can name appropriately with Revoker when I cast it. I guess I should have played my Plains first, in the unlikely scenario that, like, something like Double Daze happens. Not that it will, but you know, good habits. Hot damn. We do get a brainstorm. Geez, there's an ensnaring bridge. That's like super important to know about. Alright, so trap, brain freeze, field of ruin, visions of beyond. And that was no revoker targets. Ooh, no, that stays. We're gonna name Vampire Nighthawk with this. Goblin Piker's fine. Go ahead and use this opportunity to put in a Sarah Avenger in case the third one got milled and my opponent played Surgical Extraction. So yes, I will take that up. So I can go attack for 5, then attack for 9. That's 14. So my opponent will be on a 3-turn clock. And again, to give them fewer chances to draw Surgical Extraction, I should probably just, like, nug a Jace's Phantasm right here. I don't know that Surgical is in post board, but it's something I have to think about. Yeah, maybe not. Like, there is some world where my opponent just doesn't attack. It's kind of a sad brain freeze. So I don't think my opponent's likely to attack anymore, right? If they attack in... Like, if they just hold back, they're on a 4-turn clock. If I'm giving protection. So I guess I can just, like, wait on this and plan on blinking out someone at end step. That's probably just better for me. So if we make it to game 3, I'm going to want my paths, and I'm going to want my rest in peace. So my opponent takes 8, goes to 4. I will go ahead and protect. And I will keep my planes in hand. Now we wait. We wait and see if we're dead. We still have 29 cards in library. So it probably have to involve... Could they, like, Field of Ruin... Trap Brain Freeze? Or, like... Glimpse? Ooh, Bridge. Okay. Well, that means the Jace's Phantasms are never doing anything again. But can my opponent empty their hand? I have 2 Flicker Wisps in the deck, and maybe 1 Recruiter to find it. My Relic Order got milled. Alright, so I have 3 outs to bridge if my opponent goes Hellbent and stays Hellbent. there's some problem. I wonder if my opponent has visions from beyond, and they're wondering if they cast it, will too many cards get stuck in their hand, and they just die? No, Cataclysm's in the sideboard. Alright, second bridge. And another Brain Freeze. This leaves my opponent with one card in hand. So my mom can attack, but it can't get through double Jace's Phantasm. So now I just need to get some cards stuck in my opponent's hand. But that's going to be hard to do. Even with Thalia. So I'm going to Wasteland my opponent off of Volcanic Island. That way, if they draw a Braid, they cannot cast it. Yeah, second Mom would be great. Don't have a lot of time. What is my opponent thinking about? They have like a Visions of Beyond, and they're curious about whether or not casting it is optimal? Alright, I like this start for me. Like that less. Yeah, I know, the mom's still there. So that's great. Okay, this is the turn where my opponent wins or loses this match. Okay. Yeah, if they hadn't been able to, like, mill me for 7, I won because they'd have too many cards left in their hand and I would get to kill them. Ugh. All right, so game 2, lost to Bridge. So that was definitely something I could have won. Like if I had a little bit better matchup knowledge, I could have boarded slightly more optimally and given myself a better chance to win that. But it was well played on both sides. I played to my outs and it didn't work, and that's fine. I thought I played game 1 very well by like not searching with my stuff early on, but my opponent was able to force me to search with that land, Field of Ruin, and that just completely decimated me. No, the correct move is not to board in all 15 cards. Absolutely not. Absolutely, absolutely not. What that does to the rest of your deck is devastating. Like, if you're playing limited, sure, something like that's fine. But, like, if you want to change your mana ratios that much, like, you are destroying your own deck. Like, if you add 15 cards to your deck, then, like, currently you have a 36 to 24 ratio. So, like, you have two lands for every 3 spells you have, but you completely destroy that if you sideboard in 15 cards. And you are going to stumble over your own deck. You are going to be drawing cards you don't want to draw. That's pretty awful. All right, so I'm going to leave. I changed this already. I'm going to leave the deck list that we're about to play up here for a minute. I'm going to use the restroom and refill my water bottle, and then I'll do a sort of brief deck tech with this deck, and then we'll jump into a league with it. Alright, so before I do that, 24 lands is for Grixis Delver and Red Prison primarily, where you want increased stability of mana. I wanted to sneak another basic plains into the deck, and I thought the 24th land was a good way to do that. Be right back. Alright, so for anyone who's new to the stream, hello, my name is Phil Gallagher. I run ThrabenU University, a site dedicated to legacy, death, and taxes. Today we're playing a donation deck list in the second half of the stream here. This is a Stoneblade deck list that was sent to me, and I do want to thank the people who donated recently. Their names are down at the bottom of the stream there. So Raymond V and Cadaverous donated to have me, A, play this deck list right here, and B, write up a primer for the D&T versus Red Prison matchup. So thank you very much for that support. I do appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy this content. So we're kind of a D&T and Friends of D&T channel. This is probably like the bluest deck that I have played on stream. Like, look at this. We got 12 cantrips in this one. This one's not a Thalia deck. But it's still a Stoneforge Mystic deck, so we'll call this okay. So this is kind of what you might call like Esper Stoneblade, you know, Esper with a very slight green splash for Deathrite Shaman. There's just one tropical island as a way to activate the life gain ability. Otherwise, you can't. This is kind of an old school list, though. The newer Stoneblade lists are running a whole bunch of like True Name Nemesis, but this list instead is focused around synergy from Gitaxian Probe. So in the main deck, you have Gitaxian Probe Mentor to create tokens, and you have Gitaxian Probe Therapy to just like cheat and win games of Magic. Otherwise, it's normal Stoneblade type stuff. I love the Gitaxian Probes because in the sideboard you have 3 Meddling Mages, and that's a sweet combo. There are 2 pieces of equipment in the main deck, the Jitte and the Batterskull, and then there's a 3rd piece in the sideboard, a Sword of Fire and Ice. This is just like good, solid Magic. There's nothing too fancy here, no frills. It's just I'm gonna play some good, powerful cards, a decent amount of disruption between like Spell Pierce, Force, and Cabal Therapy and Swords, and just try to like ride either Jace or Mentor to victory. I do like the sideboard quite a bit because it has powerful cards that attack from different angles. Like for your fair matchups, you have like Zealous Persecution, EE, Council's Judgment, Sword. That's all annoying. For your unfair matchups, you have like Meddling Mage, Flusterstorm, Surgicals, Pithing Needle, and then you can just try to like hose random people with like Back to Basics, Deluge, and Disenchant. So I've never played this exact deck list. I've played other Stoneblade decks in the past, and we'll kind of see how this goes. That was disappointing after starting that one out 2-0. So let's try to do better with this. In shameless plug time, while I'm waiting here, I am going to have a decent amount of time over the summer to stream. So if you're interested in seeing some Legacy deck showcased, you know, feel free to let me know. Alright, do I have any data on my opponent? My opponent was last seen in 2017 playing Mono Red Storm. Oh, Revamped Soldier, thank you very much for the subscription. I think that's the first time you've subscribed, and I do thank you for your support. I'm going to be keeping this hand. But I think I'm just going to play Delta and pass. That way I have Force of Will up in case my opponent is a combo deck. Yeah, I am not going to assume that my opponent is playing Mono Red Storm. What's my mana base look like? I have 2 islands, a plains, and a swamp. So I could get island here, but then I can't play any of the stuff in my hand. So I will force that. Holy shit! Spirit Guide Pyroblast by force? You madman! Okay. So, what now? I can get Island or Swamp. If I get Swamp, I can Deathrite Shaman. If I get Island, I can just cantrip. So the question is, do I want to be able to cantrip into other lands, or do I want to be able to cast a naturally drawn Deathrite Shaman? Oh, God. I think I want to be able to cantrip. Jeez. I did not even think to play around Spirit Guide Pyroblast. Ha ha! This is fine. Oh, it's not Red Prison at all. It's Painter. Okay, okay. This makes more sense now. This is a shuffle. I'm gonna cast this while the getting's good. Alright, Spirit Guide Blood Moon. Nothing that matters. Okay. So that second Spirit Guide went the way of the Dodo. So I don't know their card? No, their card's a Blood Moon, and I don't care about that Blood Moon. So I'd rather just, like, make them cast that for Ensnaring Bridge purposes. Ooh, Cabal Therapy in my graveyard. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm trying to think if we can still win. So what has to happen is I draw second island and I jace them out, or I draw planes, I get a Stoneforge in play, I connect with Jitte while they have cards stuck in hand. But I'm debating on showing them this Jitte, because this Jitte will confirm what deck we're on. There are also, how many instances of sorcery in the graveyard? Pretty close to enough. So it's not unreasonable that I could, like, Deathrite drain out too. So I'm going to keep playing Magic. Pardon me, folks. I need to blow my nose here. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to hold this Brainstorm until my opponent targets me with Grindstone, And then I'm going to brainstorm, put 2 cards back, and let them throw crap into my graveyard. Never mind, I'm going to want to force that, if I can. That card's really good. Alright, Senior Karn. So, for those of you not familiar with Karn, you just keep feeding him lands if you can to try to, like, increase the number of cards in your opponent's hand. Alright, there goes an island. That's bad. So that means Jace is no longer an out. Alright, so now it's Recruiter for Painter, Painter, la-da-da-da-da. I'm gonna confirm that they're getting Painter, but they're getting Painter. Yeah, okay. We're done. Alright, so EE seems good. Council's Judgment seems fine. Meddling Mage and Disenchant seem good. And Needle seems fine. What's bad? The Stoneforge package probably isn't the best. Force of Will is somewhat a liability given Pyroblast. But they're a combo deck, so I still probably want Force. I'm not overly confident in sideboarding with this deck. Like, I know these are the cards I want. I'm 100% certain there, but as far as what comes out, that's trickier. Like, because of Bridge, I want Jace, even though it's not the best against Blood Moon. So I could do something like trim the Stoneforge package, keeping the Jitte around for ensnaring Bridge reasons. Decrease the number of Swords to Plowshares I'm playing, because I'm bringing in other answers to those same sorts of cards. And then just, like, shave something else. Maybe Council's Judgment is too ambitious, given that my opponent is a Blood Moon deck. And then I can just, like, shave a Probe. Let's try that. I'm gonna keep this. And I can just start on a Deathrite Shaman to play around Blood Moon to some degree. Like, the question is, do I want to hold up Spell Pierce on my first turn or play Deathrite? And I think long-term the answer is I want a Deathrite in play. But I do probably need to get a non-basic. Let's think about this. Well, I suppose if I get... Like, I really want to be able to both Deathrite Shaman and Spell Pierce with this. And that would mean getting Underground Sea. I feel like my land needs to cantrip in case I draw one off the top. Welder's annoying, but I can probably answer that in a different way at some point this game. Like that. I could also just, like, preemptively name Grindstone here. It's pretty unlikely that I'll end up with an artifact in my graveyard, so just shutting off their win condition is probably better than just hitting Goblin Welder. In before I get, like, super punished for this decision. If I don't force this, there could be a Reb on my Pithing Needle, and then the combo's live again. But I could just force the Pithing Needle. Honestly, like, Reb on my land is pretty devastating too. And I'd rather force this than a Reb. Alright. So I can just Vomit Mentor this turn. And then hope to draw into a cantrip and just go, like, super wide of my opponent. Or I can play Stoneforge, fetch up Jitte, and if I draw land, specifically a fetch land, I get to the point where I can just start whittling away at the painter. That's probably better. Bridge is fine. Opponent still has a bunch of cards in hand. Alright, super happy to see this brainstorm. Let's do something that matters. Alright. I probably don't need second Deathrite. That can go back. All the rest of these cards are pretty good. I'm going to put Ponder on top of that. And then I'm going to pass the turn like this. I may be redrawing that Ponder. It kind of depends whether or not I need to Spell Pierce something. That resolves. That also resolves. Alright, so what's my plan? I can Deathrite Shaman, activate Tundra, or activate Stoneforge Mystic, put in Jitte, get an attack in, lose my Stoneforge, get 2 Jitte counters, then on a following turn attack in again. That would get rid of the Painter. Or I can go a little bit longer and play Mentor. I can play Mentor and Ponder, get a token, and then use the token to attack in repeatedly. I might need to like get Jitte counters exactly this turn though, because of Bridge. Okay, so if I think I want that Ponder. I'm gonna cast the Ponder first though, so I can shuffle. Like, multiple Deathrites is not a bad thing. That means, like, even if this bridge plan works out in my opponent's favor, I'm okay with taking one more Deathrite. The blue crap on the screen is from Painter's Servant. And And that's playing around the Spell Pierce that I held up. That's unfortunate. Okay. So we'll nug that Goblin Welder. And then I'll gain 2 life. So Rat Poison, this was a donation deck list. It's a little further away from what I tend to play. But still D&T-esque in some ways. Look, we're playing a Hate Bear and everything. So I think I'm just going to name Pyroblast. My opponent has used 2 red elemental blasts already. I'm insulated from the combo with Pithing Needle, so I think this is a fine name. And now I'm just going to plan on, like, Deathrite draining out my opponent over the next few turns. I will... Alright, so how much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's only 5 instants and sorceries in the graveyard. I need 6 to have lethal. But presumably I can Spell Pierce something stupid over the next couple of turns. So I don't even think I'm going to play the Mentor. I think I'm just going to, like, go for Deathrite Shaman, drain you out plan. I mean, I don't know exactly what my opponent's got going on, but there's some world where they're supposed to go and attack in with those Spirit Guides. Yep, I am going to continue not playing my Mentor. And if my opponent tries to red elemental blast one of my things, I'll get a Swords to Plowshares blowout. Yeah, see, I was expecting that earlier. Alright, my opponent scoops it up there. Okay, do I want to change my sideboarding at all? No, I more or less like what I have. The fact that I didn't want to play my Mentor out was a little bit weird, but I think that's fine more generally. We're going to ship this one. I'll keep this one. Meddling Mage can go on the bottom. Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to operate on the assumption that I will get to play Magic this game and develop my board a little bit. I don't feel like I'm in immediate threat of dying to the grindstone. I'm going to keep the Ponder so that I can shuffle if the stuff that's on top is crap. Just kind of hoping to hit lands. Those are not lands. Pyroblast, Karn, Great Furnace. That is a super unfortunate draw. Oh god. My opponent had nothing, chat. Imperial Recruiter, too strong. Is that a spirit guide right there? Or no? Okay. What a beating. Alright, alright. None of those get there this turn. Yes. Ha ha. I guess I blow up the painter since it has more synergy with everything else. No, I don't want to let my opponent draw like another Pyroblast or something. I would be quite worried about that. That would just, like, beat me. Yeah, you can have a Reb. And I'll make you minus to get your painter. I guess I'm getting a scrubland. I'm just dead, right? It's just like minus painter hit me. And I just am able to put them to 2. Yeah, so like I can drain, but I die. Rats, we were so close there. That one was maybe in reach if I played differently. Like, I'm not an expert with this deck. Okay, so we just played against this player, and they were on goblins. I guess this hand's fine against goblins, especially if my opponent has mulliganed. It's a little awkward in that if my opponent plays a turn 1 Vial, I kind of have to force it, and then I flop around awkwardly. But if they just, like, start on a Lackey and I just get to, like, fetch Tundra, Swords to Plowshares, I'm in amazing shape. I can get basics this game to play around Wasteland. I don't know that I want to do that, though. Alright, what do I care about my opponent playing on turn 2? More or less nothing? Anything they play I can answer with Swords to Plowshares except another Aether Vial. And if they have another Aether Vial, so be it. So I think I'm just gonna, like, play that and pass. Do I want to fetch a basic swamp here off of Marsh Flats and therapy them, or do I want to get something like a Scrubland and therapy them? So, like, it's reasonable to, like, therapy and name something like Matron here, or, like, name Ringleader here. That way, if I curve out next turn and I play Mentor, it's just better. Or I can just, like, wait and then play Mentor and therapy afterwards, so that I 100% get something. I think I'm fine passing. My opponent's play will be like, port one of my lands. And that will expose one of them to something. Super rewarded for getting the basic. We're gonna name Ringleader here. Oh, sweet Jesus. This is a very good hand against the lines that I have taken this game. Goblins... Alright, so they don't have another land for Goblin Settler, so that's nice. Uncounterable Stone Rain. Sure. Oh, why couldn't they brick on land for 1 turn so that I could dump the Mentor and play? Boy, that feels bad. But I can't risk my opponent drawing a land and dropping Siege Game. So now I can play Mentor, pass, Swords Goblin on their turn, or otherwise just take the damage and hold up to play around Tarfire. Oh, perfect. Trap card, activate. Yeah! So this seems good. This seems good. This seems good. This seems fine. And these are probably good enough. Pierce isn't great, especially on the draw. It's basically only good against Ether Vial. Therapy's a little soft when my opponent has ringleaders to refuel and can vial things in at instant speed. But as a combo with Cataxi Probe and Mentor, it's still pretty good. I suppose, like, there's an argument for getting rid of my Force of Wills against, like, the Vile Cavern deck, and it's like a 4x Cavern deck, too. So I don't actually get the chance to counter that many spells. We got paired against the same player twice, so that's probably what's up. So, like, if I cut my Force of Wills, I just, like, don't play on the stack, and my game plan is try to stabilize the board and then ride Mentor and Stoneforge Mystic to victory. That's fine, but is that better backed by Force of Will? Like, is there anything else I want less? Like, if I want to keep Force of Wills, I probably do something like Trim 2 Probe, 2 Therapy. Therapy might be too slow on the draw. This might be like a play-draw thing. Where on the draw I'll keep the force, but on the play I'll make the swap. This is a great opener. So if my opponent does not have Tarfire, then my best line is just play Deathrite Shaman. Which I think I'm going to go ahead and just do. If my opponent tries to Tarfire my Deathrite Shaman, I will Force of Will. Wow. Okay. Deathrite Shaman, too strong, folks. Needs to be banned. Like, turn 1 Deathrite Shaman, Goblins concedes. Poor little red men. This looks like a reasonable hand. Opponent plays Bug Delver, perhaps? I'll keep this, but I'm going to attack Team Probe before I figured out what I want to do on my first turn. Kind of, like, would love to confirm that they are Delver. Maybe a bug control deck. I don't want swords. I would be okay drawing Deathrite, and next turn, like, Deathrite Ponder. Or I can just, like, start riding the Stoneforge Mystic train repeatedly. The issue is the Wasteland my opponent has. In the face of Wasteland, I will keep the Deathrite Shaman. So I don't really want the third card down. I could Ponder again and then play Deathrite, or just Stoneforge and then get Wastelanded. I don't think I want any of that. I expect this is just my Deathrite Shaman eating an Abrupt Decay here. So we've played around Edict. My opponent has put themselves into a situation where they can't Jace unless they have one more land. Okay. I could just slam Batterskull, but if I do so and my opponent Jaces, that's not the best for me. I don't know that they can Jace, but it's a very real possibility. So I should probably just play out a couple of critters. I'm going to Ponder first and then plan on using a Stoneforge to shuffle. So that I can Deathrite Drain, I'm just going to go ahead and do it this way. Force of Will. What did that pitch? Okay, so that pitched Jace. Is there a follow-up Jace? I do still want to shuffle. I guess there's no card I need to draw right now, so I can keep this probe for additional information later. Like, I can't draw into, like, Force and blue card here. So I can just wait on this. Because there's some world where, like, I draw a Mentor or a Force, and I'd love to have this card. Alright, so there is another Jace here. No, I'm not going to play Equip Attack. If they draw the land for Jace, I get super punished for doing that. I'm going to take the... Yeah, see, like, if I would have, like, play Equip Attack, kill the Deathrite Shaman, it's just, like, super bad for me if he draws the land for Jace. So that's why I did not do that. Now I'll get to, like, put in my Batterskull, put Jitte on Stoneforge, and, like, 100% do damage to Jace. while diversifying my threats. Stunton, I don't know that I'll write an entire article on Shalai. But I wouldn't be surprised if I write something about it in some capacity at some point. Okay. That is annoying. This is not a long-term plan. So Stunton, Shalai is very, very good against the slow to mid-range decks of the format that don't have Caracas. It's awkward in places like the Mirror or the Eldrazi decks that have Caracas or Turbo decks, but it just completely hoses some decks, and it's disgustingly good. Oh geez, Jace is in Fate Seal mode already. That means I probably can't win. I'm curious what my opponent left on my deck. So I'm going to play one more turn here just to see what that is, and then I'm going to concede. Alright, yeah. Jace, good magic card against mid-range blue decks. I loved Shalai alongside Caracas and Mom. It's a very powerful, very reasonable card to play. Whether or not it's the best thing you can be doing, though, that's unclear. Okay, so what do I want to Force of Will in this matchup? Probably just Jace. I'm bringing in 2 other answers for an opposing Jace. Kind of 2.5, really. Don't know that I want to, like, Deluge against Tarmogoyfs and such. Well, yes, so to a certain extent, like, the Needle isn't good. Like, it can be decayed. It would shut off our own Jace if we name Jace. But they probably have other planeswalkers like Liliana and such that I need to answer as well. Yeah, and Stunton, it does a lot of things that aren't immediately obvious. Like shutting off Rite of Consumption when you're playing against Turbo Depths. I'm gonna run the needle. I also could have trimmed on Swords to Plowshares. My god, that is a good opening hand. So that's Delta and Deathrite gone. Oh man, did opponent draw Decay? That'd be unfortunate for me. Strix is fine. I'm gonna get greedy and brainstorm and try to hit another land. And it worked. So I kind of like fetch, Cabal Therapy, a card, sack my Stoneforge, Cabal Therapy a second card, then play Mentor my next turn. Or something like that. Like, I don't need a second Deathrite Shaman for sure. I could put back, like, double Deathrite Shaman, fetch Cabal Therapy, sack Cabal Therapy, and, like, get rid of both Planeswalkers or something like that. Or, like, get rid of Leovold and Jace, or Leovold and Lily. But it's unclear whether that's just better than dumping Batterskull. So my opponent's hand right now isn't super well geared to beat, like, Batterskull into Sword. So I'm just going to pass and put in a piece of equipment of some kind or another. And then hope to draw land 4 off the top. Kind of feel like my opponent has push or decay, so I'm going to take a slightly different line. So we'll name Maelstrom Pulse with the first one. Okay. Well. I guess I named Toxic Deluge with the second one. My opponent can't cast any of their cards. And the rest aren't super relevant. So I go Cabal Therapy, target you, sack this. Name Toxic Deluge. And that's gone. And I'll let my opponent trade for a Germneer. That way the board is just clear. Alright, opponent spiked the land. So I can Cabal Therapy, name Jace. Cabal Therapy, name Leovold. Bounce Deathray Shaman, kill Lily. Win. Can I just aggro my opponent out this turn, actually? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Probably not. Oh wait, does it work if I sword? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, it doesn't. 5, 9, 10. Wait, 5, 9, 10. I can just cast one more of these and then I'm done. Neat. So put back Sword, Brainstorm. I'll cast Ponder. Six, 11, 12. So this can attack there, this can attack there, and we'll kill the Lily for good measure. Alright, we have the Probe Therapy combo in my opener, so I will be keeping this. I got punished for not Gataxian probing first. I could have, like, fetched Island into Swamp and just, like, cut myself off of white temporarily. So they added a deluge to that. Awkward mana is awkward. I want to be able to cantrip and cast Deathrite, so I guess I'm doing this. This is just either my land or my Deathrite getting Maelstrom Pulsed in all likelihood. Oh man, this gets my opponent's Deathrite. Deal. I'm going to try to hit another land drop here. I'm going to do so with Brainstorm due to higher upside. I'm okay with missing a land drop to put this Death Right in play on an empty board. If this causes my opponent to, like, Toxic Deluge for 2, I'm pretty happy about that. Yep. Now we're a little deeper. I can ponder, hopefully hit some lands. That's great. Oh, shoot, shoot, shoot. Actually, I don't regret that. I was thinking I should have played my Jitse, but by holding this up, it guarantees that I can go Mentor plus Therapy on my next turn, which I really want to do. And then I will follow up on Jace the next turn, with Jace the next turn. That's annoying. But I can race that pretty easily. I think I'm on the aggro my opponent out plan. 9, 13. 5, 9, 13. All right, my play is getting a little sluggish. I feel like I should probably go get something to eat. So I'm going to go ahead and take a break for a little while to go grab some food. I'm going to go ahead and host someone else who is probably playing some D&T, and I'll probably finish this league up after dinner. I hope you enjoyed this content. I know I played a little bit slowly, and I don't think I necessarily played perfect Magic in these last couple of rounds here. There's a lot of decision points, and I'm just not familiar with like the ins and outs of this deck. But I hope you've enjoyed so far. And I'm going to go ahead and turn you over to someone else who's playing D&T.